What?
It's time now for My Two Favorite Librarians. Brought to you by the Copper Tree Boutique in Dale's Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.
Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're talking about the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
All of the 70s.
Groovy.
I'm trying
Is that, I don't know what
No, that's the 60s.
I don't know 70s slang.
70s slang would be...
I didn't
I'm
look
going to have to Google.
I didn't look any 70s slang. Don't worry about it. I didn't look any 70s slang.
What did they say in Staying Alive?
I watched Staying Alive once.
It wasn't as fun as they led us to believe.
No. Mostly I've watched 80s movies. So the 70s, this was actually quite hard for me, trying to figure out what to talk about with 70s books.
Let's blow this taco stand? That's 70s.
Okay, I did not know that. Except I say popsicle stand.
I'm looking for more now.
Your search for 70s slang is not progressing us.
Dig, 70s slang.
I watched that 70s show.
The Lowdown.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few here I can't say. Threads, that's 70s. There you go. We're all 70s.
So why are we talking about the 70s, Chantel?
Shockingly, it's not a Pop Sugar Challenge.
It's not.
But I think it's just your birthday. You
it's
made
still
everything around your birthday.
I made everything around my birthday because I think that my birthday should be celebrated for several weeks. Because I was born in the 70s. So I thought, oh, wouldn't that be interesting? We talked about zodiac signs last week. And now we're talking about books from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the Publisher Weekly list of best-selling novels in the United States in the 70s.
I've got LitHub's top 10 books that defined the 70s.
Okay.
A fascinating dichotomy of books. Seriously.
So this is 10 years of books. And the top 10 for each year. And I have read 3.
Yeah, I went through some of the children's stuff to look at what children's books were being written during the 70s. And I was actually surprised how many we would still have like in stock or titles that I would remember.
Yeah.
Or no, not titles that I would remember. I remember nothing from the 70s. But titles that we would have and that
people
we're
are still reading. Yes. Yeah, so of these like 100 top 10 books from the 70s, I read Watership Down.
Depressing.
Sophie's Choice.
Oh, God. More depressing than anything.
I was like, you should have saved that word. And The Dead Zone.
Oh, that's Stephen King. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 100 books. I had read 3.
None of those are on the top 10 books defining the 70s.
Although a bestseller in 1971 was The Exorcist by William Blatty.
Which you do want to read.
Yeah.
And are not wanting to buy for the library.
No, but you know what I did?
What?
I put an interlibrary loan request in.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So with interlibrary loan, we can get books from anywhere in Canada, and then I don't have to buy that book. So there was another place in Nova Scotia that has it. So I'll just get
Was it Cape Breton?
They were one of them, yep. So I'll just get that. I'll borrow it through interlibrary loan, and then I will read The Exorcist.
Is it written by an Aries so that you can use it for your...
I don't know when William Blatty's birthday is, but...
you may have to Google that.
I will. Trust me. I'm Googling everything to try and fit things under that. I don't have anything in that yet. But I'm surprised that I have read so few of these books. So I'm interested. What are the top 10? You're like gearing up. You're like shifting in your seat. You're planning an attack.
Do you want to guess? Do you want to take like some guesses about what you think should be on the top 10 defining books from Literary Hub?
I'm going to say Love Story.
No.
Really? Watership Down?
Nope.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull?
No.
I've never read that book.
I've never
I see
even
it
heard of that.
on lists. I'm just like, meh.
Are you? Do you want me to start?
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm just going to start throwing out like random.
So number 10,
Okay.
The Shining.
Was that a 70s book?
Apparently so.
It wasn't a bestseller, though.
I didn't say bestseller. I said books that defined the 70s. Although there are some things that I would, what, I mean, who says what defines what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have read The Shining.
Okay. Roots.
Oh, yeah. See, I was surprised to see that wasn't in this
Bestsellers.
list. Yeah. I read Roots a couple of times. Yeah. Don't give me that look. I read it when I was in grade 7.
Roots.
Yes.
Did you read it for school?
No. But my English teacher did give it to me to read. And I cried and cried and cried because it's just, man, people are the worst.
We really are.
And then I read it again as an adult. And again, I cried and cried and cried because, how do you treat... Anyway.
All right. And on to an even worse depiction of people.
God.
Helter Skelter. Which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we did. Because it's a book...
With a song title.
With the song title.
All the President's Men. I would say a book that very much described the 70s.
But that one's not a novel, so it wouldn't have been on the best-selling novel list.
Well, you didn't say it had to be a novel.
Well, I said that mine was the best-selling novel.
Well, I'm telling you, it's 10 books that define the 70s. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
I read that once.
Did you?
It made no sense to me.
He was rejected by something like 150 publishers. I don't think there are actually really that many publishers.
Especially in the 70s.
Yeah, before somebody finally took it on. It's an autobiography, I believe. Sort of ish.
Yeah. It made no sense to me.
Here's the only book I don't think I've ever heard of. Gravity's Rainbow.
Oh, by Thomas Pichot.
Yes.
You've never heard of it?
I don't believe I've ever heard that book.
Oh, yeah. I haven't read it, but I have heard of it.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Was an amazing book.
Joy of Sex.
Erica Jong?
Yep. No.
No. Oh, no. You mean the Joy of Sex, the sex manual.
Yes. Yeah. Defined the 70s.
What number is that on your list?
Number 3.
It's not even number 1?
No. And number 2, here's a shocker. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Well, I mean, that was an important book.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that at all, but to think that Literary Hub has it number 2 on their list of the books that...
define the 70s?
Okay, now do you want to try and guess number 1? You'll never get it.
That gives me a lot of motivation. No, I don't want to try and guess. I tried to guess 3 things and I got none of them.
I'll give you a hint. It was not actually first published in the 70s. It was published in the 60s, but the English translation was published in the 70s.
Ooh.
And it started off a boom of translation novels. That's not the wording they used. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay, so it was translated from a different language into English in the 70s. That just makes me miss Alex Trebek. No, I have no idea.
100 Years of Solitude.
Oh, Gabrielle Garcia Marquez.
Yes.
I read that when I was in my 20s, and that's not yesterday. I should go back and reread some of his work. No response. Nothing. So,
a weird list to define the 70s, to say the least.
It is quite disparate.
Yeah.
How many of those have you read?
1, 2.
Judy Blume.
Helter Skelter.
So, a young woman coming of age.
And murder.
Wow, that really says something about you.
I don't think I've read The Shining. I haven't read Roots. I did watch the television series as a child, which scarred me, like most things that I watched too.
The library owns it on DVD.
I know. I'm not watching it again.
Yes. I've never watched the television series. I've read the book, and I'm good to stay with that.
Do you want to talk about some children's books that were published in the 70s that we would still know and are much beloved today?
Can I guess one?
Yes.
The Hungry Caterpillar?
No, that was... Eric Carle was very much publishing in the 70s, but I feel like The Hungry Caterpillar was...
Oh.
Would you like me to Google that for confirmation?
No, that's fine.
Okay. I'm pretty certain it was the 60s. Okay, you're going to Google it because you don't even trust me to do that.
No, because you have the list of the books.
Do you want me to start? Which end of the decade do you want me to start at? How about a book that I can actually remember having as a kid? The monster at the end of this book, which is Grover.
Oh, I love Grover.
I know. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Did not realize that was a book from the 70s. Thought it was a much newer book.
Very Hungry Caterpillar, 1969.
Oh, see?
The monster at the end of this book, I know, I'm going back.
71 or 70. I did them in kind of sort of order. 71.
When I was quite young, my babysitter owned the Sesame Street Disco album.
Oh.
For some reason, those things are like connected in my head.
I can remember having the golden book of the Pokey Little Puppy. And I was like, oh, the Pokey Little Puppy. And then I Googled it. 1942. Golden books from the 70s. Not the Pokey Little Puppy.
No.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good movie. Freaky Friday.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was the 70s, but it's because I always think of the, like,
Movies.
Disney movie.
Yeah. Ramona.
Yes.
Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Terrible turn for Disney. Very scary animated movie.
I've neither watched nor read.
Don't do it. The House with the Clock in Its Wall by John Belairs. So they just made a movie out of that like maybe 2 years ago. And he was like a scary, I'm using quotation marks that you can't see, but like a scary children's book author.
Well, the title sounds creepy.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, I don't know if it was like, not a Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, but kind of that kind of like mystery Scooby-Doo. Like there'd be ghosts and stuff in it too, I think. I've never read one. Beth was a big fan of John Belairs.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
This Can't Be Happening at McDonald Hall.
You know, I haven't read that series either.
I would highly recommend not reading it now because I think as an adult, you're going to look at that and go, oh, whoa. Because, I mean, it was written, he was really young. Gordon Corman, I think, wrote that when he was a teenager.
Oh, well, good for him. I mean, he's been publishing for years.
Because I actually, I didn't do much reading as a kid, but I did have a lot of Gordon Corman. I loved him. And
I read the Ramona Quimby books.
They made it into a television series just recently.
Did they?
Yeah. But I was going to say Beavis and Butthead. No, that's not their names. I can't remember. Bruno and Boots. That's their names. The books are
Not
very
quite the same.
new. No, not at all. The books are very dated and 80s.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah. 70s, actually. Well, the first one is in the 70s, but
yeah, it's 78, so we're getting
so
towards...
probably most of them were in the 80s.
Yeah. And The Never-Ending Story.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, that is on my list of books to read.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, The Horse in the Marsh.
Which is the one with David Bowie? That's Labyrinth.
Yeah,
I've never seen that either.
Labyrinth is very different.
The Never-Ending Story.
The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
The Never-Ending Story made me cry, although I haven't seen
I
it.
wonder if we own that on DVD.
We do not.
Okay. I wonder if I can get a copy of it.
It made me cry, but I haven't watched it since I was a kid. Now, I did recently watch Labyrinth. Where did I find it? Maybe it's on Hoopla.
Oh.
And David Bowie, man, his outfit
Was very David Bowie.
Yeah. But Jennifer Connelly, that's like a very early acting gig for her.
Yes, yeah.
She is so young. But it's a fun movie if you enjoy it for being what it is.
Kind of a classic from the 80s.
Yeah.
Something I really should have seen at the time. Like, I don't really understand why I wouldn't have seen it.
I don't either. Obviously, you were a weird child.
Probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, looking through the stuff from the 70s, though, I really haven't read that much of it, which is surprising to me.
So I went through a list and I just wrote down like some random like authors I kept seeing to see like who do I know from the 70s that I wouldn't necessarily read anything by them, but are still, because obviously there's names that have disappeared. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know, in 50 years time, will anybody know E.L. James? Who knows?
Well, and then there are tons of names where it's like, because there are lots of people where I'm like, oh, obviously I know who that is.
Gore Vidal,
Yeah.
Sidney Sheldon, James Michener.
But who is Taylor Caldwell?
Oh, what did they write?
Well, and they show up multiple times.
Because there were a couple of people too, like, I was like, I don't know who that is.
Great Lion of God in 1970. There are more. Captains and the Kings in 72. And these are just like the top 10 bestsellers according to Publishers Weekly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a fully comprehensive list.
Peter Benchley, Jaws. He wrote a bunch of stuff in the 70s. There's a book that I think defined the 70s because it brought us the blockbuster film.
Yes. And that made people afraid of the beach for a long time. Mario Puzo was writing in the 70s. Lots of Robert Ludlum, Ken Follett, James Michener.
John le Carré.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie. I saw a lot of Agatha Christie.
None of these are people I read.
No. It's true.
But yeah.
Kurt Vonnegut.
I have read Kurt Vonnegut, but it was a long time ago. I haven't read that much, though.
Yeah.
But it's surprising to me how little of this that I've read. I tried to read The Thornbirds.
Ugh.
Okay, so you didn't like it?
It always comes up on every romance list, and it's just like, no, not The Thornbirds.
I tried. I could not do it. No. But I am going to read The Exorcist.
Excellent.
And we'll see if it's as scary as the movie. That movie
I'll be
was
intrigued
still
to see.
like pretty creepy.
I don't know. I could probably watch The Exorcist now and it would be fine. That's the one where she throws up, right?
Yeah. Way to boil it down. All right. What are you reading right now?
Okay. So, everyone knows that I'm completely obsessed with Lore Olympus. New book is coming out. Everybody's in October. It's a while yet. Everybody's talking about Lore Olympus, Hades and Persephone. Finally, I was able to get my hands on Alicia Rye's Hot as Hades. Very excited. This was sort of a novella she did a while ago, and it's been out of print. And they keep saying, oh, we're going to re-release this. We're going to re-release this. And it's like, now's the time, people. Now's the time. I'm not that far in. I'm very much enjoying it.
Oh, well, that's good. It's nice that you have like... So this is an online web comic that you read.
The Lore Olympus is an online webcomic. It comes out weekly. The first volume is going to be published in hard copy, and get ready because when it comes out, you're going to hear me talk about it everywhere. I may even buy my own copy.
Ooh, wild.
I have in my house. I've tried to convince numerous people to read this, so I have someone to talk about it with, but no one will read it. And I love it so much.
You keep talking about it. I haven't even looked it up.
Oh, I wish I need somebody else to talk about it. I've tried Tiffany the other day when she was over. I was like, you need to read this.
Have you
My
tried
friend Stacy?
Have you tried Jelana? Try Jelana.
No, I haven't tried Jelana. I feel like she might not. It might not really be for her.
Try Jelana.
I could. Anyway, I'm totally obsessed with it. It's not for kids. It is an adult retelling of Hades and Persephone. The creator is very good about giving content warnings on episodes because there is a sexual assault and there's some there's an abusive relationship.
Not
so
for
it's
children.
Not for kids. But the graphics are exquisite and I can see having reread it.
Is the author also the illustrator?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. And I can't think of her name, sorry. Rachel Smythe, maybe? I can see how her drawing has gotten better since the beginning. Every character, with the exception of Apollo, is amazing. And I love all of them. And I've gone back and reread it a couple of times and I missed things. I did not notice the first time around that Hestia and Athena are a couple. Did not notice that. I did not, there's just so many
How
little
long
things.
has she been publishing this?
Just a couple years. I think it's only 2 years old.
Because you binged on a bunch of it and then you had to start waiting to get.
Yes, I now have to pay for it. So last I feel like in the fall, I don't know what I was doing, and I stumbled upon it, and I read like the whole thing. And now I pay weekly so that I don't have to wait
for the free release
newest
date.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Love it, love it, love it. So good. Persephone last week just turned Minty into the mint plant.
Okay.
It's good. You really should try it. It's funny. It's really witty and well done and smart. Love it.
Maybe I'll wait until it comes out in like paper.
Read it now.
You just
need
want someone to talk to. I am reading Interworld by Neil Gaiman and Michael Reeves.
When was Neil Gaiman born?
I don't remember, but I looked it up. He might be a Cancer, actually.
No, he wasn't on my list.
Oh.
I feel like he might be a Scorpio.
I looked it up.
I'll Google it. You talk.
Because, I've read some Neil Gaiman this year, and I thought, I could put that. Nope. So Interworld is a teen novel, and it's about a kid named Joey Harker, and he finds out that his world is one of like 1 million alternate Earths or more. And some of the worlds are ruled by magic and some are ruled by science. And there are 2 different factions fighting over who should control the entire universe of different planets. And so he is working with the Ultraverse to help keep the balance.
I was right. He's a Scorpio.
When is Scorpio?
Scorpio is, my mom's a Scorpio. I believe it's like the 20-something of October, like 21st to like the 20-something of November.
Right. Okay. He's not an Aries. That's all I know.
He's not. I can date Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you'd have to meet him first.
I didn't say I wanted that. I just said I could.
I would love to meet Neil Gaiman. I would probably be bizarrely tongue-tied and weird.
We all would.
Yeah. So I'm reading some more Neil Gaiman because this one I had in my pile when you and I had done the Facebook Live about Neil Gaiman books, and I didn't get it read before then. So I thought, I'll read that. I like Neil Gaiman.
That's okay.
It's a nice little story.
No one's saying bad things about that.
But it's not from the 70s.
No. He's not even from the 70s. I believe he's from, let's see.
Oh, he's in his 50s.
Yeah, but he was born in the 60s. He's not from the 70s.
Right.
We're from the 70s, Denise.
Yes. Which is why I read things in the 80s. So,
what are we doing next week?
I was going to ask, do you know what we're talking about next week?
I do not.
Books with multiple generations.
Oh, God, I hate those kinds of books. They're always so depressing.
You hate everything. There must be a romance novel where there are multiple generations.
Bridgerton's technically does have some prequels. And I suppose the Ravenels or whatever, they've now spun off into daughters.
Yeah. See? You can make anything. You can make romance fit any prompt.
It's true.
Yeah. So, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
My 2 favorite librarians. Brought to you by the Copper Tree Boutique in Dales Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.